I bought a pure and handsome succubus online. It blushed when I kissed it, which meant no. When I was regretting and preparing to return the product, the succubus said pitifully, "Don't you want me and the child?" I was at a loss. Where did the child come from? He said with red eyes and grievance, "The master kissed me on the day I arrived, and I had a baby at that time." First of all, he is a male succubus. Secondly, who the hell said that kissing can make you pregnant? I also regretted this NO for several days. Looking at the beautiful and tall succubus who was diligently cooking in the kitchen, I opened the chat box of the online store's customer service. "Hello, can I get a refund for the succubus I received?" The customer service replied in seconds, "Dear, for the succubus that has been confirmed to be received, our store will not support unconditional returns unless the succubus itself has serious problems, such as chronic diseases or other hidden health problems." I sighed. There is indeed a very serious health problem. The succubus you sent is no. Dear, what do you mean by no? It's stomach nourishing. I was heartbroken. The customer service replied with a row of question marks. Nourishing the stomach? Impossible. Our succubi have all passed professional training and have various quality inspection certificates. It is absolutely impossible that they can't do it. Besides, the succubus is the most capable one in our store. Can you tell me about the first day you saw him? I'm worried that he was under stress. I elaborated. After he arrived that day, I was afraid that he would not be used to it, so I just pushed him down on the sofa and kissed him for a while. How long did you kiss the succubus for exactly? About one morning. You can't blame me for being impatient, but for Carlos being too handsome. He has completely grown on my heart and calls me master in a sticky way, like a little puppy sticking out its tongue and acting coquettously. He is obviously tall, but when he lies on my legs obediently, I can't help but kiss him and tease him. The succubus who was kissed blushed instantly, his eyes moved, and he was extremely innocent. That morning, as long as I looked at him, the air was filled with. The ambiguous factor can't stop drilling into my body. The customer service commented, "Then this succubus has the ability to kiss." And then the next night, I thought we were going to have that, but he didn't react at all and fell asleep earlier than me. The customer service asked carefully, "Dear, could it be that your attitude was too eager and scared him?" I reflected carefully. No, he takes the initiative to kiss every day, and he always hugs me to sleep. By the way, he always asks me to touch the succubus pattern on his abdominal muscles, and his tail is always wrapped around my legs. He is so clingy, and he is not afraid of me. The customer service was silent for a while. "Dear, why don't you try to get along with him for a few more days? If he really has a health problem such as stomach care instead of stress, we will unconditionally return the product and refund." Putting away the phone, I sighed faintly. Well, let's try Carlos again to see if he can do it. That night, I was distracted during dinner. Carlos helped me pick up a piece of food with chopsticks and said in a gentle tone, "Master, what's wrong with you?" I shook my head guiltily. "No, nothing." "Is the food I cooked not delicious?" His eyes drooped, and he looked aggrieved like a bullied puppy. "How is it possible? It's so delicious. I love it so much." I was afraid that the succubus would think too much, so I hurriedly stuffed rice into my mouth and ate the food voraciously, almost choking me. Carlos handed me a glass of water with satisfaction. "Master, I'm glad that you like it. I will make more for you in the future. Don't pay attention to me all the time, you eat too. I feel that you have lost a lot of weight recently. You have worked hard, Carlos." I don't know why he lowered his head and smiled. His eyes fell on his abdomen, and there was a faint and inexplicable sense of happiness. He said, "It doesn't matter for you. The hard work is worth it." As soon as he said this, I felt guilty. Since I bought Carlos home, he has been doing all the housework at home, inside and outside, up and down. No matter how big or small, he is very tired, and he can lie down for a long time just to sweep the floor. I hurriedly picked up some food for him to relax. "Carlos, you should eat more to replenish your nutrition. Your health is the most important. In addition, you should take a rest these days, and I will do the housework." Carlos' eyes were bright. "Master, why are you so kind? It's a small matter. I will go to wash the dishes in a while. You should take a shower early to relieve your fatigue." I promised directly. Carlos leaned over and kissed me on the face. Thank you, master, but I will still help you with the work. He was so obedient and innocent, which made me heart soft. How could he be such a damn stomach nourisher when he was so obedient and sensible? I didn't believe it, so when I took a shower and lay on the bed that night, I kissed him the first time. Carlos didn't hide but gradually blushed and took the initiative to push me into the bed and kissed me dizzy. His body temperature is very high and his breath is hot. This reaction is a typical physiological characteristic of a succubus when it is excited. I was confused and wanted to reach out to confirm. At the critical moment, Carlos suddenly pressed his face against my face and asked me a strange question. Master, what do you want to name your baby? I opened my eyes blankly. Baby? What baby? What baby? The name of your child. He pressed his face against me, his eyes full of indescribable expectations. My kind of question is this: how can he, a male succubus who nourishes the stomach, make me have business? I thought it was funny, so I replied without thinking, my name is Wenshu, and your name is Carlos. The child's name is the combination of our surnames. Carlos whispered it and was very happy. Okay, I'll listen to you. Then he lowered his head and kissed me with a satisfied look. I hooked one hand around his neck and reached down with the other hand to check the business. But as soon as I touched his abdominal muscles, he seemed to suddenly think of something, undistanced himself from me. Master, it's time to sleep. No more kissing. I grabbed his tail and refused to give up. No, come here. What's the big deal about just kissing every day? Really not, master. It's not convenient for me today. Carlos still refused. I sighed and tried tactfully. Carlos, are you still going to do that tonight? Is it not okay to do that? Under my nervous gaze, he nodded strangely with a red face. Well, it's still not okay, master. My eyes went dark. Good night. He didn't deny it. Well, he quibbled. Dear, took some medicine to try. The truth was too cruel, and I didn't have the energy to continue to be intimate. Seeing that I was a little depressed, Carlos hugged me with a little guilt and asked me to touch his abdominal muscles. I'm sorry, master. I will be fine in the future. It's okay. Go to sleep. It's not a big deal. I can take it slowly by myself. I pretended not to care, but when he stuck to me and seemed to be asleep, I took out my mobile phone with great sadness and opened the chat box with the customer service. After thinking about it, I hesitated for a while and finally typed, Hello, the succubus I bought from you is indeed stomach nourishing, so I better return it. The customer service is very dedicated and is online late at night. Dear, are you sure? Well, okay, I will initiate a return. You can click on the return and refund. Tomorrow, there will be a special succubus breeder to collect the succubus. Soon the chat interface popped up a return application, but I was a little hesitant when it came to the end. Return it. I couldn't bear it. Carlos is the best in everything except no, don't return it. But he said no. Oh, I can't just accompany him baka every day and walk the innocent route, right? When my fingertips were about to click the OK button on the return page, Carlos's low and hoarse voice suddenly came from behind. Master, what are you doing? I quickly locked the screen of my phone and said guiltily, No, nothing. I just couldn't sleep and played with my phone. Then I won't sleep either. Play with the master for a while. No, no. I threw the phone aside and turned around to face him. Due to gravity, the muscles on the face of any humanoid creature will unconsciously deform when lying down, but Carlos did not. The light of the night light came from behind him, and his facial features were still three-dimensional and clear, but for some reason Carlos's face was inexplicably strange. He stared at me straight, giving me a cold and sticky feeling. If the light of the night light was a little darker, it would be like a handsome male ghost coming to claim my life late at night. I was so scared that I subconsciously moved back. The next second, Carlos's face returned to its previous innocence and cleanliness, as if the weird feeling just now was my illusion. He came close to me and buried his face in my neck. Master, I learned something on the internet recently. I squinted my eyes slightly when he rubbed me, feeling very comfortable. Are you so eager to learn? Come, let me hear what you learned. I learned how a succubus serves the master. Master, since you can't sleep, will you give me a chance to show off? He stared at me with burning eyes and licked my chin with his tongue. Red is performance, right is seduction. Looking at Carlos, who suddenly took the initiative, I nodded with a dry mouth. Yes, yes. When I bought Carlos, the product details interface showed that he had slender fingers. I really didn't expect that the merchant didn't make false propaganda in this regard. When Carlos sorted my clothes, I stared at the ceiling in a daze, and the muddy water color filled my eyes and didn't dissipate for a long time. They're all going to return it. How come Carlos has suddenly become so good? Forget it, I'll go to sleep first. I'll talk to the online store customer service tomorrow and let Carlos go back to the factory for repairs. Let's see if the succubusman's department doesn't need to return it. Maybe he will be fine. If I were to live with another new succubus, I would really be a little uncomfortable. I feel that no one is as good as him. When Carlos came over to me after washing his hands, I leaned into his arms and closed my eyes to sleep. I was drowsy and didn't notice that his expression became weird again. He stared at me with dark eyes that were so dark that the light of the night light couldn't penetrate. While my little snore started, he took out his cell phone and posted a help thread on the succubus forum, waiting online. Under what circumstances would a human master no longer want a pregnant succubus? Soon a bunch of enthusiastic succubi replied, many humans are indecisive. Pregnant succubi can't accompany them to do many things and they will be unhappy. It's like this: after I got pregnant, my human master bought a new succubus. Woo, woo, woo. Hey, humans are all pigs, they will get bored. Don't accept your fate, learn more new tricks and bombard humans in other ways. Satisfying humans is the first priority. Humans are also soft-hearted. As long as we serve them well, maybe they will love us again. The author of the post can change his style a little, yes, and then stick to humans more, and don't let them come into contact with other succubi. Looking at the dense replies, Carlos' face was cold. Thinking about my satisfied and comfortable expression when he served me a night, he turned around and clicked on the succubus learning webs of knowledge all night, such as the first item, how to seduce humans, the second item, how pregnant succubus can satisfy humans. When I woke up the next day, I found that Carlos was not beside me. Huh? I scratched my head, a little surprised. In the morning, Carlos always looked at me obediently, opened his eyes like a puppy, and then gave me a very light good morning kiss, and then went to make breakfast for me. Where did this succubus go today? When I was at a loss, the door of the room was pushed open, and Carlos walked in, accompanied by the smell of rice. Unlike the formal and innocent style he wore in the previous morning, the succubus today was not wearing a shirt, and he was only wearing a pair of loose pajamas underneath. Standing on his hips, whether to show it or not, the good figure of 8 abdominal muscles, unmailed dog waist was undoubtedly revealed, and the succubus pattern on his abdomen was also obvious. This sudden blue critical early in the morning almost made me bleed from the nose. Master, are you awake? The succubus knelt on one knee on the bed and leaned over to give me a good morning kiss. The kiss was not as innocent as before, but very dirty. She also pulled my hand to touch his abdominal muscles, which felt great. Carlos, what's wrong? Why are you so bad today? When I was released in a daze, Carlos had already started to unbutton my pajamas, intending to help me change clothes. His enthusiasm was a little too much. I blushed for some reason and patted his hand lightly. No, no, I can do this myself. Okay, master. Carlos' eyes flashed with regret. Facing his burning gaze, I randomly changed my clothes and went to the bathroom to wash up, but the succubus followed me in. Before, when I was washing up, he was waiting outside the door, very gentlemanly. I was suspicious. Are you going to the toilet? If you want, I'll go out first. I'm not in a hurry to what? Carlos shook his head. No, I'm here to help my master wash up. As he said that, he squeezed toothpaste on my toothbrush and filled a glass of water. He put the toothbrush against my lips and said in an overly gentle voice, Master, open your mouth. I'll brush your teeth. I looked at the toothbrush blankly, then at the handsome succubus in front of me. No, why does he become a little weird after waking up from sleep? I was puzzled, but I didn't refuse his kindness. Okay. I raised my chin and opened my mouth. Carlos leaned over and began to brush my teeth seriously. After brushing, he wet a towel to wipe my face. The whole process was so detailed. He also kissed my face and mouth from time to time, giving me enough emotional value and making me so comfortable that I almost fell asleep with my eyes closed again. After washing up, I put my hands on my waistband and said hesitantly, Carlos, what's wrong, master? I want to go to the bathroom. Carlos, who had put away his toothbrush, came over again immediately. His eyes bright. I'll help you. I looked blank. You don't need to help me with the bathroom, right? You can't help me. Okay, then I'll go get breakfast for the master. Seeing that my resistance was too obvious, Carlos had to leave the bathroom with his head turned back every few steps. Looking at his back, I was full of doubts and couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure it out. What happened to Carlos today? After coming out of the bathroom, I took my phone to the restaurant, but my steps stopped. Bad news. Carlos was wearing a shirt. Good news. He was wearing a floral apron, and his broad shoulders, narrow waist, and smooth texture were obvious. He was definitely beautiful to look at, more attractive than not wearing anything. For a moment, I thought I had accidentally walked into the filming site of some indescribable movie. I swallowed my saliva. Master, coming to dinner. Okay, let's eat together. I stared at him and sat down in a daze. Carlos's mouth curled up quietly. He sat next to me, picked up the bowl of porridge, blew away the hot steam, then scooped up a spoonful to do something to feed me. I'll feed you. After a sip, I still couldn't help asking him, Carlos, what's wrong with you today? What? I feel like you seem to be too enthusiastic today, and you're so well behaved that I don't know what to say. He fed me another spoonful of porridge, his eyes dark. Don't you like me like this? I like it. I naturally didn't deny it. But you will be very tired like this. You should rest when you need to. I'm afraid your body can't bear it. You see, you have some dark circles under your eyes today. Although one of the functions of you succubus is to do housework for humans, I feel a little sorry for you doing this. How about I buy another succubus to help you share the burden? No, Carlos' reaction was very excited. His face suddenly darkened and showed a bit of viciousness. This change of expression scared me, but he quickly returned to his sticky, innocent puppy look. He raised his hand to wipe the porridge stains on the corner of my mouth. Master, I don't want you to buy other succubi. Isn't it good to have only me? But, Master, please, I can really satisfy you by myself. Carlos was aggrieved, his eyelashes drooping sadly, but the force he pressed on my mouth was uncontrollable. I nodded. Okay, if you don't agree, then forget it. Thank you, master. You are so kind. He let go of his hand, smiled, and came over to kiss me. Under this fierce attack, I instantly put aside his just now abnormality. After breakfast, I was ready to go to work. Carlos helped me put on my shoes and coat, and then he said, Master, I'm a little bored at home alone. Can I go to the store with you? Maybe I can help you with something. I pondered for a moment. Carlos has been home for almost 2 months. He hardly goes out every day except for buying groceries. This way of keeping him in captivity may not be good for his physical and mental health. What if he goes out for a walk and he is fine again? So I nodded. Okay, the coffee shop has a little less traffic recently. If you sit in the store, you may attract a lot of customers for me. By the way, you don't have to work, just accompany me. Carlos smiled obediently, got dressed, and went out with me. Along the way, he turned back a lot and naturally attracted many customers to order food in the store. It's just a little strange. For example, whenever a meal stopped at the counter to order, Carlos will suddenly take over. Master, I'll take the order. You go to make coffee. For example, if a succubus wants my contact information, Carlos will suddenly appear next to me and wipe my sweat very intimately. Master, I'll wipe your sweat. You've worked hard. The soft tissue blocked my sight, but I still caught a glimpse of him out of the corner of my eye. He stared sinisterly at the succubus who tried to flirt with him, scaring her away directly, which was completely opposite to his innocent, well-behaved appearance. I pursed my lips, still feeling something was strange, but every time I wanted to observe him carefully, he would come over and hug me, acting cook at this line, being extremely well-behaved. After all the customers in the coffee shop had left, I finally had time to sit down and send a message to the customer service of the online store. Hello, I still don't want to return the succubus. Can you provide factory repairs for the succubus? Okay, dear, as for the factory repairs you mentioned, we naturally have them. You can choose return only on the return interface. and we will arrange for a breeder to come to your door to take the succubus away for follow-up treatment in the near future. Thank you. By the way, will the succubus suddenly change its personality? The customer service was shocked. If the succubus's temperament changes drastically, it is a very serious psychological problem. It may be a mental abnormality caused by the damage to the male dignity. If you choose to return it now, we will treat it immediately. Carlos's problem turned out to be a serious psychological problem. I actually recovered the succubus. Guilt surged in my heart, and I hurriedly opened the return interface and selected return only. Just when I was about to confirm, the phone in my hand was snatched away. I looked up and found that it was Carlos. He was standing next to me against the light. I couldn't see his expression clearly, but his tone was low and hoarse, and there was a hint of danger, master. Why do you always want to return the goods? I blinked. I'm doing this for your own good. Not wanting me is also for my own good, he said with a little cry. I was sitting and he was standing. In this high and low chatting posture, I had to raise my head very high, so I wanted to stand up, but Carlos held my shoulder with one hand, and I couldn't get up all of a sudden. Yes, it's for your own good. Let me stand up and talk, or you squat down. You are too tiring for me to raise my head, okay? For fear of further irritating the succubus's already abnormal psychology, my tone was very gentle. After Carlos was silent for a moment, he slowly squatted beside me. I could see clearly that his eyes were red, his nose was twitching, and he looked aggrieved and about to cry. I felt pity for him. I hurriedly held his face. What's wrong, Carlos? Are you too tired today? Tell me if you have anything. I will definitely help you solve it. Don't cry. Your crying makes my heart melt. As soon as he said this, he seemed to pause, and then tears instantly fell at pat like eye drops. He lay on my legs, rubbed his tears into the palm of my hand, and said shockingly, Master, don't you want me and the child? What the hell, child? Where'd the child come from? I was stunned. Carlos agreed. My child with you. You named her when she... Wait, when did you and I have a child? I wiped his tears helplessly. You curled your lips and your eyes seemed to accuse me of being a scumbag. The master kissed me on the day I arrived, and I was pregnant at that time, and it has been 2 months. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Carlos, first of all, you are a male succubus. As far as I know, male succubus cannot get pregnant because you have no place to conceive. Secondly, I wiped his tears helplessly. Who said that you can get pregnant by kissing? I finally remembered what the enlarged, bold and read innocent feature on the details interface meant when I bought Carlos online. This is too innocent, and it made me laugh and cry. But I also understand that in the process of raising succubi from childhood to adulthood, they only learn how to do housework and how to take care of human masters, and rarely learn other knowledge. Carlos blinked. So, I'm not pregnant, of course not. I touched his head and hurriedly comforted him. This process is that we haven't experienced it yet. But it doesn't matter. I have contacted the merchant now. You go back and ask someone to treat him. Now it was Carlos' turn to be at a loss. What should I treat? I'm not sick, master. I'm strong enough to help you carry the trucks of express delivery home. Look, he is still pretending to be strong at this time. I felt sad. Don't be afraid to see a doctor if you can't do it. Just go for treatment. The merchant told me that their after-sales service can be called miracle healing. As I said that, I gestured to a certain place of him with a look of pity and compassion. It doesn't matter if we can't cook in this life. There can't be any problems in your heart. Carlos looked down along the direction I was looking, and when he looked up again, his expression was a little strange, master. You don't think I'm a stomach-nourishing succubus, do you? I didn't say anything, just sighed. Carlos suddenly sneered and dragged me to the grocery room behind the coffee shop. Master, come here. I'll show you. He glanced at the passers-by outside the window of the coffee shop, suddenly stood up, pulled me to the grocery room behind the coffee shop, opened and closed the door. As soon as I turned around, Carlos kissed me anxiously, then he grabbed my hand, and when I opened my eyes wide in surprise and disbelief, he said in a hoarse voice, Master, I'm fine. This matter ultimately comes down to 2 words, drama. Carlos thought that kissing could make him pregnant, so he kept enjoying his desire in this way. I thought he couldn't, so I was very considerate of him, asked him to do less housework, and only touched his abdominal muscles at night to satisfy his craving. And because of these actions, Carlos mistakenly thought that I was taking care of him and the child. A vicious cycle. After coming out of the grocery room, I blushed and found the after-sales customer service again. Well, I'm sorry. The succubus I bought is fine. It works very well. The customer service was probably speechless about my repeated changes of mind and sent a yellow bean smile. Kiss. How about you confirm it again? It's confirmed. There was just a little misunderstanding between the succubus and I. Now the misunderstanding is resolved. That's good. I wish my dear and the succubus a happy life. The return channel has been closed. After putting away my phone, I also found it very funny. Carlos, who had been staring at me, came over immediately. Master, you really don't want to return the goods, right? No, don't worry. I stroked his chin like teasing a puppy to comfort him. Carlos lowered his head and accurately bit my finger, biting it lightly, but his eyes were staring at me with overwhelming desire. His voice was sticky. Then can we go home early tonight? I want proof to the master that I'm really not sick. I moved the finger and accidentally touched his soft tongue. I swallowed my saliva gulp, and my waist was soft. I'm fine to listen to you. All the way home, we kissed at the entrance. That night, I felt like I was drowning in Carlos's scented breath. Succubus is wonderful. How come Carlos has such good physical strength? If he hadn't misunderstood that he was pregnant, and I hadn't misunderstood that he was not good enough, we would have been so happy that we didn't know what. Now we have wasted 2 months of good time in vain. I lay in bed, touching Carlos's abdominal muscles, and I couldn't help feeling sorry. However, when Carlos came up to me and called me master again, I didn't care about anything else. Let the past be the past and be happy in the future. From that day on, there became something indescribable between us, and we would draw when we looked at each other. In the past, I would complain about the tyrants in those movies and TV series who didn't attend court early for the sake of women. I thought it was bullshit, but now it's my turn, and I really don't want to go from gentle to leave the hometown. Even the business hours of the coffee shop are not fixed. Customers can buy or not. If not, I will close the shop and go home, kiss my obedient succubus, and eat the dinner he made for me. There is another thing that I slowly put behind me that is Carlos's mental state. In the 2 days when I decided to cancel him, he always inadvertently showed his perverse and scary side, which scared me, but recently he has not been like that. He is as obedient, clingy, and hardworking as before, as if that strange appearance was just my illusion. Until that day, my ex-boyfriend suddenly found me. My ex-boyfriend is my college classmate. He pursued me fiercely, sent flowers, and confessed his love to me. I softened my heart and agreed. As a result, not long after, I caught him in bed. At that time, he argued, when shoo, if you had not only held my hand until now and never kissed me, would I have cheated? I was amused and immediately cut off all contact with him. After graduation, he and many of his friends asked about me, but no one paid any attention to him. Now, this ex-boyfriend suddenly walked into my coffee shop. I was a little surprised, but more disgusted and unlucky. If I had known that it was closed today, I would have taken Carlos on a date, touching his abdominal muscles and watching a movie. I don't know how cool it would be. Sorry, it's closed. Goodbye. One shoe, why are you so cold? After all, we were together before. The door is there. I won't see you off. I pointed to the door again and drove him away. The ex-boyfriend sat down shamelessly. I'm not leaving. I came here specifically to see you today. I want to talk to you. I said coldly, there's nothing to talk about. Why are you still so stubborn? Then I'm a customer. You have to sell me a cup of coffee, right? It's closed. Get out. Hey, you always say one thing and mean another. So cute. He smiled and tried to hug me forcefully, but I did not dodge because the next second, his arm was twisted heavily by someone and he was thrown out of the store. Amid screams, Carlos came to me and looked me up and down nervously. Master, are you okay? Did he hurt you? I kissed him with a smile. He dare not, and you came in time. I will reward you more in the evening. Carlos Saddam's apple rolled. His eyes were shy but straightforward. Okay. He hugged me, pressed my face in his arms, and swayed me back and forth. After my ex-boyfriend recovered, he wanted to rush in to settle the account, but I don't know what he saw. He paused and finally turned and left with a sour face. However, when I closed the store door, Carlos asked me curiously, Master, who is that man just now? I replied, my ex-boyfriend. Then did he hug you? He was a little unhappy with his head hung. I closed the shop door, turned around, held his hand, and coaxed him. I don't want to hide it from you. He and I have held hands, hugged, and kissed, but nothing else. We broke up because he cheated, so we will never get back together. Don't be unhappy. Now I like you the most. Carlos was coaxed by me and became happy again. Then give me a kiss. Okay, kiss. I smiled, closed my eyes, and kissed him, not noticing that a morbid possessiveness flashed across the succubus's eyes. I thought the appearance of my ex-boyfriend was just a small episode and he would not bother me again. Unexpectedly, a few days later, Carlos was suddenly injured. His arm was swollen from being hit by a stick, and the corners of his mouth were purple and red, and he was almost disfigured. My scalp exploded immediately. Who hit you? Carlos said with red eyes. It was the master's ex-boyfriend. He ambushed me on the way here and called several people to beat me up. But don't worry, I fought back and I narrowly won. I narrowly won. My fists hardened instantly, and I was furious. Narrowly winning is not okay. He is such a shameless scumbag. He actually dared to call people to bully you. I have to call the police. No, if I call the police, you will fight back, and they might say it was a fight. Damn, this scumbag! I frowned, thinking about how to settle the score. Carlos hugged me obediently and buried his face in my belly. It's okay, master. I don't feel any pain. Why are you so pitiful? I touched his head with heartache and let him bury his face in my belly, sucking back and forth. I don't know what he was sucking, with a look of fascination and imperceptible ruthlessness. It doesn't matter as long as I can protect you. By the way, master, please don't call your ex-boyfriend. I don't want him to hold a grudge against you and cause you trouble. I was deeply moved. What a well-behaved, unsensible succubus. After returning home, I naturally didn't want to let Carlos do housework again, so I coaxed him gently. After he fell asleep, I still couldn't help it, so I picked up my phone and went to the balcony to call my ex-boyfriend. As soon as the call was connected, I lowered my voice and started to speak. Are you sick? Dare to bring people to block Carlos? If you dare to cause trouble for me and my succubus again, I will directly send the photos of your cheating to your unit, and I will make your hard-earned position in the exam go to waste. Before the ex-boyfriend spoke, I heard the background sound on his end first. It was very noisy, as if he was in the hospital. The ex-boyfriend wailed, I will never look for you again. Don't worry, your succubus is simply sick. It is true that I want to teach him a lesson, but the 4 or 5 of us are not his opponents. In a few minutes, we were all lying down, and now we are still in the hospital treating our wounds, but he didn't even lose a hair. I don't care, you have to pay for the medical expenses. I was silent for a long time and then replied coldly, what compensation? Not a dime. But if you dare to be a bitch again, I will call the police and say that you brought people to maliciously harm the succubus today. The ex-boyfriend was guilty and hung up the phone cursing. I put away my phone and went back to the room. I looked at Carlos, who was hugging my pillow and sleeping soundly and obediently on the bed with interest. I carefully treated the wounds on his mouth and arms. While treating the wounds, he kept shouting in pain with tears in his eyes, pitiful like a handsome big dog bullied by bad guys. I kissed and hugged him for a long time and almost lost the pants that were deceived. The pure succubus who can be mistaken for pregnancy, even with a kiss, is actually a white cut black. So he is not mentally abnormal or has psychological problems. He just knows how to pretend. I did not point out this interesting discovery immediately, but like an adventure to find treasure, I peeled off Carlos's hidden mask little by little behind his back. He is highly possessive and does not like me to have too much communication with any male creature. He has a strong desire for control and arranges my life quietly, everything according to his wishes. He is not well behaved, but rather perverse, and those who make me angry will suffer for no reason the next day. In some aspects, he is innocent, but in fact he has gradually begun to pervert. For example, one day a bunch of new beans arrived at the coffee shop, and I was busy all day. Carlos seemed to feel sorry for me and did not do bad things with me. He just helped me to sleep innocently and was very sensible and well behaved. But when I was lying there pretending to sleep, I secretly felt that the hem of my clothes was lifted up, and then someone kissed my mouth. The master's mouth has a lip bead. I love to kiss it. The master's waist is also very thin and soft. I want to take a bite. No, I have to take a bite. The more he talked, the more outrageous his words became, and his behavior became more and more abnormal. I laughed inwardly, so that's it. I said that I obviously didn't cook with him late at night before, but when I woke up the next day, my mouth was swollen, and there were a lot of kiss marks on my body for no reason, even if sometimes I felt that I didn't have enough energy and asked to stop. He never bothered me too much, and he held me in his arms to take a shower very obediently, as if he didn't want me to get tired too much. But when I got up the next day, I felt strangely tired all over. If you don't know, you would think I was repairing an Egyptian pyramid every night. It turned out that he started to unbehave when I was sleeping soundly. When Carlos put his hand on my pajamas, I opened my eyes, grabbed his tail, and pulled it hard. In the succubus's guilty and flustered eyes, I said slowly, it turns out that there are puppies doing bad things every night. Carlos' tail was pinched, of course it hurt, but he didn't cry but looked at me quickly. Seeing that I was not angry, but my eyes were full of teasing, he breathed a sigh of relief, lying there with his face buried in my palm, and the tip of the succubus's tail swayed flatteringly. I am also distressed why I am like this, but I will only do this to you, master. Don't hate me, I just like you too much. I asked him in a gentle voice, why didn't you tell me earlier? You like well-behaved ones. If I am not well-behaved, you will not want me. No, no matter what you look like, I will like you. Really? Carlos' eyes were bright and black. He came close to me with his hot breath. Master, are we going to sleep tonight? I smiled, then ruthlessly pushed his face away. I want to sleep. If there is an extra mark on my body when I wake up tomorrow, I will directly deprive you. The succubus immediately lay down, obediently untucked the quilt for me then. What if I am obedient? I half closed my eyelids drowsy. If you are obedient, go to the Civil Affairs Bureau with me tomorrow. Humans can marry succubi, but few. After all, humans treat succubi as entertainment, never give their true heart. So, when I said this, Carlos froze instantly, like a fool, really. Really, don't call me master in the future. Then, what should I call you? Call my name. I leaned in his arms, because we will have an equal relationship in the future. Okay, review your studies. Carlos called me hoarsely. This was the first time I heard him call my name, and it sounded a little too nice. Good night, Carlos. Good night.